What's good, DMV Sports Zone? It's Noah, back with a fantasy preview for the Washington Capitals and the Washington Wizards. Apologies, it wasn't posted yesterday. A lot of travel with the holidays. You can see I'm a little bit tired. So we're going to be doing the session today. But if anything, it gives us a good preview of the Capitals situation. As I predicted, Ilya Samsonov has just taken over as the number one goalie. Yes, he gave up 5 goals last night in a brutal loss to a red-hot Panthers team, including a goal with 15 seconds left. But they were also outshot 27-3 heading into the final period, which doesn't win you games. Samsonov did his best. So there's a lot to talk about there. And the Wizards, a lot of things are shaking up. As expected, there is a little bit of a downturn after the red-hot start to the season. But before we get started, again, all my information is coming from Sporty Eye. Really excited. December 17th, we're going to be adding the NBA functionality to the platform. So if you are wrapping things up with fantasy football, then you have something to look forward to on the platform. A bunch of other updates as well. So really excited to see more people on the app. And without further ado, let's get started.
Welcome back to DMV Sports Zone.
Chased down by Beal in the corner for three. Gets fouled and hits.
Welcome to DC.
Well, they tied him out.
You know when you're at the USA Cup, you're taking it slightly. I'm taking it slightly. Now how you gon' act on you gon' be right back. When we gon' be right here. We gon' be right here. We ain't going nowhere. Welcome to DC. DC, the home of Chuck Brown. Oh, you don't know the sound? Well, let me break it down.
So first things first, with the Capitals, yes, I just talked about Ilya Samsonov had a middling performance on the stat sheet, but he also did face an absolutely certain amount of shots towards the end of the game. The Capitals were leading 4-1 heading to the third period. They got outshot 27-3. However, that's an anomaly. The Capitals are an elite team. That was Samsonov's first regulation loss of the season. He's now 9-1-1 with a 91% save percentage and a 2.45 goals against average, which in the new modern NHL is okay, especially not indicative of a 9-1 record, but that just shows you how strong the Capitals team up front is. So again, at this point, if you haven't picked up Samsonov, he is a must start, a must play, top 10 at his position. Simply because with a lot of the new scoring regulations for standard leagues and ESPN, Yahoo, other leagues, wins are heavily weighed upon. So even in the rough nights for Samsonov, a win will put him into really positive value. And on top of that, he's playing better and better as the season goes along. Really see him maturing, making the right moves, not overreacting. So his analytics and his score plus trend really well for the rest of the season. In terms of Vanacek, if you do see a lot of other hot goaltenders, there's, surprisingly, John Gibson is only owned 50% in the league, for example. Braden Holtby, former Capital, doing pretty well for the Dallas Stars. It may be time to drop Vanacek because as Samsonov takes more and more of the starts, Vanacek simply isn't like a Martin Jones from the Flyers, for example, or Velishka, the new guy from the Phoenix Coyotes or the Arizona Coyotes. He doesn't come in and just has a big game and is worth keeping. Vanacek is slowly trending to droppable now, with Samsonov being the must start. In terms of the other forwards or defensemen on the Capitals, nothing much changes. Everyone has stayed relatively the same. Everyone to talk about from before, obviously the Ovechkins, John Carlson, they're your must starts. Wilson is continuing to play to the projections that I predicted last week. As well as a lot of the other forwards. There have been some injuries, like with Lars Eller, Hagelin, and even Kuznetsov has seen some issues. But it's not a situation where someone will step up and become fantasy relevant, as opposed to hockey, or as opposed to basketball or football. A lot of times, the guy's next man's up. So far, nobody has really stuck out for the Capitals in terms of sleepers. Same thing there. There's no score pluses have really stood out to me for any of the depth players in the Capitals, so there's not much updates there. In terms of the Wizards, this is a little bit more interesting. So Dinwiddie, he's starting to slow down from his red hot start. Is he droppable? Of course not, but his expectations have to be tempered. His score plus has went down from the top 15th percentile. Now he's into the 20th percentile, which doesn't sound like that much, but that's considering, a lot of the players. That's almost 4 to 5 ranked spots down on the point guard/guard category. What to make of it? I think this is just a cool streak for Dinwiddie. His role is secure as the undisputed starting point guard. Still doesn't play on the back-to-backs, but the Wizards' schedules is pretty favorable for the next couple of weeks. There's not many back-to-backs to worry about, so there's not many chances for him to sit. He's always a reliable, multifaceted point guard. Always gets your assists, decent amount of points, decent amount of rebounds. One thing that really is lacking from the past is he hasn't gotten a lot of steals, not even averaging 1 steal a game. So if that improves, then there's a lot more of a higher ceiling. So even though, Wizards fans, don't worry about it. Dinwiddie will have a bounce back. His ceiling is a lot higher, even though his projections for the next couple of weeks may be lower. As the season goes along, I think he can improve. Has a lot of room to improve, so he's a great guard having your fantasy roster. Gafford is, on the other hand, the opposite of Dinwiddie. He's improving a lot, becoming a consistent double-double threat. In leagues that count double-doubles as extra points, he's invaluable and a really underrated asset. Unfortunately, I don't think he'll get any more additional minutes with Harrell and Kuzma on that crowded front court. But at the end of the day, still produces, still a valuable fantasy asset. In terms of the Hachimura Bryant updates, nothing much. Hachimura actually scheduled, has no clear timetable, but estimated return is in the middle of December. With Thomas Bryant, no timetable to return. At this point, I think they're looking for a trade partner for Thomas Bryant. All the rumors that I've talked about week to week have been all but confirmed. So the reality is this: Bryant should not be in your fantasy radar for the foreseeable future. If he goes to the team like a rumor, the Clippers or the Cavaliers, possibly. But again, he's going to still be in a front court that's extremely crowded in both situations. Still got to deal with Mobley and Jared Allen in Cleveland. And if he goes to the Clippers, he's got to deal with Ibaka coming back, Ivica Zubac, Isaiah Hartenstein. A lot of competition, so it's really going to be hard to judge his future, but the future's not looking good for this season. But all in all, that's a really quick video. Apologize again. I know I look like death, but, had to travel hundreds of miles for the holidays back here, back in Alabama. So we'll try to get the upload consistency schedule better. But I hope you, all the DMV Sports Zone family, had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And again, if you want more information on where I get my analytics, Sport AI link is in the bio. So without further ado, I'm excited to see the Washington football team Ravens breakdown tomorrow. But until then, have a wonderful day, DMV's Sports Zone fam. Peace.